welcome to the Working Man Sports Talk Podcast, where we like to talk to other working men about sports. And if you aren't a man, who cares? We don't discriminate. Welcome to the show.
I'm Charles Dahl, and I'm with my other partner here,
John Dahl. How's it going, everyone?
And tonight we're going to talk about the NFC North. And I'm going to start with a hot take here on the NFC North. We all know who's in there, right? Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions. Who was going to lead the conference in passing yards? I'll let you start off with us.
I really believe passing yards, quarterback-wise, is going to be Kirk Cousins as our number one passing for the number one passing yards this year. Just because all the weapons that he has. I mean, he has Justin Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in the game right now, like hands down, who could actually be the best wide receiver to ever play at the end of his career.
In our time, or just like complete NFL history?
I think overall.
Okay.
I mean, he's that good of a wide receiver. I mean, he has Jordan Addison that's coming by as a rookie. We don't know how he's going to be, but it's still there to be a threat from what we saw from what he did in college and what he's doing right now. And training camp is actually pretty awesome to watch him out there catching balls from Kirk Cousins. You can't forget about KJ Osborne, who's another who is also becoming an elite wide receiver, I feel like. You know, who's stepping up big time with Adam Thielen being gone now. Like, he stepped up big time last year. Like, he had some big time plays.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, start off slow. Let's not forget about what happened in Philly.
Yeah,
I mean, that was rough. But the whole team played a little rough. But when the defense isn't there, and that's a whole different topic. We'll get there. When the defense isn't there, that could cause a serious problem like it was before. Now you're thinking, I got to catch this ball, or my God, we're going to punt for the 15th time and they're going to score again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but get back on topic here. And then he gets a full season with TJ Hawkinson, who could easily be a top 5 tight end this season, as he was last year too. And the season before that with the Lions. So
you have the Vikings going number one.
I have Kirk Cousins going number one as passing.
The best passing team in the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings, with Kirk Cousins.
Hands down.
If, God forbid, any injuries happen.
I think with Kirk Cousins at the helm, I believe he's right now, at the start of the season, he is the best quarterback in the NFC North.
I mean, you said besides who?
As of right now, I would say if I had to rank them, it would be Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Jordan Love.
Really? You're giving Justin Fields. I thought you were going to go Justin Fields all the way out here. I know that's your favorite guy or one of your favorite guys.
I mean, he is an Ohio State guy. Don't get me wrong.
Way not to be biased, though. I'll take it.
But
but you think at the end of the day, the Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins, are going to be the number one passing threat in the NFC, that lead the conference, not the whole league, but the conference in passing.
Yes. I truly believe that. If you look at their weapons and everything that they have, it's more superior than any other team in the NFC North.
You know, I think you're right. And what really gets the topic going when you think about wide receiver cores makes me think about it is this going to be the reincarnation of Chris Carter, Jake Reed, Randy Moss, KJ Osborne, Addison, Jefferson? Is this it?
It could be. I mean, I think it has a chance to be better.
Could this be 98 all over again for Minnesota?
I don't want that 98 season again.
But
it was a great season.
Minus the playoff loss and maybe a Super Bowl. Who knows? But the AFC is very tough. The NFC is tough. Let's go to the next topic because now we're just bouncing off way off now. So we think that Minnesota Vikings are going to – I'm going to agree with that. I think the Minnesota is going to lead that. I mean, if we look at the breakdown of that last year for passing, number one was Kirk Cousins last year with 4,547 yards. Number 2 was Jared Goff. You said you think number 2 is going to be Jared Goff. He was just behind him by a few there. He was finishing off with 4,438 yards. Aaron Rodgers at 3,695 yards.
But we're not even worried about that guy. He's gone. He's long.
I don't think anybody's worried about him in the NFC North unless it comes Super Bowl time or you get him in the regular season.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
And then your boy Justin Fields, 2,242 yards. My God. But you know what? They got some weapons this year. Let's not forget about it. They do have some weapons this year. they brought in some people. I mean, they got Claypool last year. Now they got DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Claypool, and Tyler Scott. What do you think about that? And they got a St. Brown over there, too.
Don't forget about Cole Kmet. Like, I think if they can stay healthy, they could be the dark horse in this conference, not going to lie.
Dante Pettis, don't forget about him.
Because
right out of Washington.
Because I just look at that lineup, that team. My God, this man did everything last year by himself. Justin Fields, he had over 1,000 yards of rushing with 8 rushing touchdowns. Like, he almost has the same amount of rushing yards as Dalvin Cook. It's pretty insane. He had more rushing yards than Jamal Williams last year.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't be a thing, but that's why he's like Superman for Chicago.
Yeah, but that's why their offense is failing. That shouldn't be a thing. He should be airing that ball out.
And that's why they went and got DJ Moore.
Will he be enough, or will that offensive line? I think they're going to have to. I think this is just me. I feel like they're going to have to really scream past this thing because the offensive line doesn't hold. Somebody's going to have to go low on a drag route, an out route, something small, and maybe open that up. And I think that'd be enough if you got Claypool and you can run him on an in route or an out route real quick and open that up on over the top. DJ Moore, there could be some things there. But then the real question would be, does Fields have the field vision to find those guys? Because there was still some complaints that he was missing open guys last year. When there was no pressure.
The thing, I think he's going to get better this year. Like, I really do. I think, like I said, passing yards, Kirk Cousins. But I think overall QB growth, Justin Fields is going to have the best growth out of the NFC North out of all the QBs. Like, this is like, I don't want to say do or die for him, but this is like going to be the chance to see him go from that third quarterback. That's not about ranking, starting off in the beginning of the season. It can easily bump him up to being the number 1 quarterback, depending on how well he does. I'm not saying he's going to lead the NFC North in passing because, my God, he's going to run that ball.
Yeah.
He's going to run that ball.
Yeah, and I think having Tyler Scott in there could be a huge thing for them, too. I mean, he's a speedster. And yes. I think with him and Moore and Claypool,
and don't forget about St. Brown.
Those guys, that's a receiving core. I think this is the year where you got to break away from Fields and say, hey, you got a team now, bro. You got some receivers. I think they built the lineup over this offseason.
But you got to remember, they have to stay healthy, though. So I think, because remember, Darnell Mooney got hurt last year. It was actually starting off pretty good, but he got hurt. I believe even Claypool got hurt too last year, again towards the end of the season. So they really didn't have any like number 1 wide receivers. They had like a lot of these guys who are like 2s or even 3s on some teams. So I can't wait to see DJ Moore in there, Darnell Mooney, and Claypool. Like, I feel like those 3 might actually show out, but I don't know how that's going to help them out at the end of the day, though, when it comes to the season. Like, where they're going to land out record-wise. But
who's running back for them this year?
Herbert. Khalil Herbert.
Okay, he's a dog. That could work.
He's a dog. I mean, they got rid of Montgomery because him and Montgomery used to, split the backfield. But Herbert always gets injured, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, that's something you have to watch out for.
And then we already know, like we said, Detroit's going to do a thing. In Green Bay, nobody knows who those guys are. Who knows at all? We'll find out.
I tell you who they are. Ready? They're going to try to turn it into the old Minnesota Vikings when we had Adrian Peterson. But they don't have Adrian Peterson. But they're going to keep handing that ball off to Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon all day long. That's all they're able to do.
That and screen pass, because I will say Aaron Jones does get off the screen pretty quick. He's pretty much right there. He can get it. He can crack off a good 25-yard run off of a 2-yard, 3-yard screen pass. I've seen it so many times. And if he does get that going, that could open up the game for Christian to get open out there, Christian Watson.
Yeah, that guy he has wheels. He can fly.
But can Love get him the ball?
I mean, right now they're carrying 4 quarterbacks on that roster, so I mean they have
4
to choose from. Yeah.
Who's on that roster? I didn't even know they had 4. Who they got? Do you have a list of that at all or no?
Yeah, they have Sean Clifford, Danny Elting, and Alex McGough.
Sounds like they got a country singer over there.
Yeah, I mean, like
I've never heard these names. Are these guys all? Are these like journeymen, or
I'm guessing these are all younger guys that are just trying to make the team. Because I mean, you don't want to bring any like good old veteran, I guess, in there with Jordan Love, because Jordan Love is basically now a veteran going into the stage. I mean, he's been sat behind Rodgers for I think 3 years.
But is he a veteran though? I mean, I don't know, man. I think they maybe should bring in an old vet, like an Andy Dalton guy, just to back him up, just to kind of coach on the side and be like, hey, man, look, I know my time's up almost, but I can still manage a game and help you manage. You know what I mean? Just some old knowledge. Somebody, that's what I would do. That way you kind of prep Love, because I feel like, well, I don't know the whole insight between him and Rodgers, but that's just my opinion. But that's what we're going to go. Minnesota Vikings, the passing. Next thing I want to talk about here, and it's who is going to lead in rushing yards in the NFC North. I'm going to kick this one. Well, I'm going to kick this one off here real quick. I'm going to kick this off. This might be controversial. If you want Fields to do good this year, he's not going to lead in rushing. But if the Bears don't learn, well, guess what? He will be leading the conference in rushing like he did last year. You know how many rushing yards that guy got a game last year?
He averaged 76.2.
That's ridiculous. QB. He led the NFC North with 1,143 yards on 160 attempts.
Hey, he didn't outdo Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook got him by like 60 yards, okay?
Yeah, but he averaged more yards per game.
Yeah, he did. I will say that.
That's insane.
I remember he broke out that like 100-yard run and got a touchdown. So it's like, dude can fly.
Nobody should be doing that at the QB position. I mean, I get it. That's a big play. But that guy's going to have a long career.
I saw that. I was like, you know what? I didn't get him on my Madden team. You know?
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Do you think?
No, I'm just kidding. That's mad. But like when I look at this list here, it's like, okay, Justin Fields, number 1. Number 2, Dalvin Cook, who will not be in there this year. That's another question. We'll cut to that in a second. Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, who's not there anymore.
The real question is, though, how many attempts, though?
Well, let's see here.
That's the real question.
Cook had 264 attempts.
Oh, my God.
Only beat Fields by 20 yards or 30 yards. But he's a running back, though. He is a running back. So they're gonna get more attempts. But
how many attempts did Fields have?
160.
Jesus.
He averaged more yards per carry than any back in the league. He averaged 7.1.
That's a lot of yards, man.
Which means,
wait,
if you're 2nd and 7 or 3rd and 7, let that guy run the ball. First down.
You know what's funny? As we're talking about this, I look at Khalil Herbert. He averaged 5.7 yards carry, but he only had 129 attempts.
So you're saying his output could go up to easily a 1,000 yard season?
Yeah,
which is going to have to happen. I mean, if we look at it too, who's in the conference? Is DeAndre Swift? Is he still with Detroit?
You know what? Let me check that. I don't think he is.
When you look into that, let me know here. I'm just going to keep going. Alexander Madison. I'm looking at him. That's the new star running back for the Vikings.
No, he's not. David Montgomery went to the Lions.
David Montgomery. Okay, I'll get to him.
He went from Chicago to the Lions.
So let me go back to Alexander Madison. That guy had 74 attempts for 283 yards at 3.8 yards a carry versus 264 attempts from Dalvin Cook. Alexander Madison could take this to the next level, possibly. What do you think about that?
I will say that I feel like Madison is a harder runner than Dalvin Cook.
I agree.
Dalvin Cook is kind of like that flashy guy that just goes in and out, but Alexander Madison's the type of guy that puts his head down and just drives his helmet inside the defender's chest and just lays them out. That is most
just pounds them, right?
Madison. That's Madison. Like,
just
that's
pounds
what he did. It was like, hey, it's 3rd and 2. What are we gonna do? Get the ball out to Madison, like, and let him handle it.
And that's that 3.8 yard average, probably right there.
Yeah.
So, could he average maybe 5 and lead?
I'm not gonna say he's gonna lead. I think my leader is gonna be Aaron Jones.
You know, I'm gonna agree with that. I'm not a Packer fan, but I will say Aaron Jones is because they're gonna have to heavily be reliant on him.
It's going to be Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon that's going to be leading that team.
But what about David Montgomery in Detroit, though? Now that's the one we're going to get back to.
But
that's going to be huge.
I don't think he's going to do much.
Is he sharing the backfield with anybody over there?
I believe he is.
I think last year they used Swift, Jamal. God, I can't. What's his name? He was there last year. Jamal Williams, and
they got the running back from Alabama, Gibbs.
So I wonder if they're still going to split the backs over there because that could really hurt him with him actually leading the league in rushing or the NFC North in rushing.
I can see Gibbs taking that spot. Not gonna lie, if Gibbs can stay healthy, that he's a dog. He is a dog. I remember watching that man run in college, and that guy was a dog. I mean, it was just like he would tore people up. If he can bring that same energy to the Detroit Lions, with the Detroit Lions, they're all dogs over there. Like they're
just lions, straight up.
Yeah, they're lions. You know, they are one of the type of people that just you got to watch out for those guys. Like you really do. They sneak up on you. Like overall, I feel like the Detroit Lions probably have the best roster overall in the NFC North.
Overall, like offense and defense.
Yes, offense and defense overall, they have the best roster.
I can agree with that because we don't really know who the Vikings defense is. We know
who the Packers defense is. We just don't know about their offense.
Their defense is actually kind of solid.
It is. That's what I'm saying. We know their defense is, but we don't know about their offense. We don't know literally anything that much about Jordan Love besides what we saw him pop in a couple of games here and there for Aaron Rodgers and what we saw in training camp so far this year and preseason games of like the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's going to be a big difference. It's going to be a big change.
Does that tell much? Who knows?
I'm not going to know much until game 5, I bet, of the middle of the season or game 5 of the season when you're like, okay, this is who we are. That game 1 maybe could mean something, maybe not. Speaking of game 1, I'm excited for that Detroit Chiefs game.
I'm going to say, their game, I'm sorry, go back on Packers. Their first game against Chicago. And it's at Chicago.
I hope Chicago gets that win. But, I mean, that's where we're at, I guess, that's what we're going to go with. And, you know, we're gonna go here to the next part. This is going to be tough because we just kind of got done going over this here. And that is, who will be the best defense? And will the Minnesota Vikings defense actually step up this year? Because they were in the bottom. They were basement dwellers. They didn't do anything. And they were the luckiest 13-4 team ever. And I'm telling you right now, if they come like that again, even if they had Mahomes, they still wouldn't go to the playoffs. Or if they made the playoffs, they wouldn't go to the Super Bowl, I'll tell you that. What's your take on that?
I think with the new defensive coordinator coming in, what's his name? Who's our Vikings' new defensive coordinator?
Oh, you're talking about oh my goodness. Why am I drawing a blank? Flores.
Yes, Flores. Flores is going to send a crap ton of blitzes with Harrison Smith. Hitman's going to be back. I believe so.
You think so?
I think he's going to be back. I don't know if they are going to be like a top tier, defense, but Hitman's going to be back. I know that's for sure. If we put Danielle Hunter's hand down in the dirt and just have him go after quarterback nonstop, he'll do some damage. Green Bay, we already know about their defense. Their defense is like a monster, I feel like, already. They always had a good defense with Alex, what's his name? Jair Alexander at corner.
Zaire Alexander, yep.
Yeah, he made a boy get off of the social media last year. Like, that was kind of crazy watching.
Yeah, I mean,
Jefferson, he shut Jefferson down to a point where the man turned off his social media.
he made one big play, which was a pass interference, in my opinion. Some people it's debatable, I guess. But I feel like it wasn't just him alone. They really used space to take him out of the game, which, hey, it is what it is. It's in Lambeau, and you have those type of games, and they are a tough defense. But like I said, Zaire is good, but I don't know if I would give him that super. He didn't Darrell Revis Jefferson. Let's just say that.
No. Darrell Revis is a whole nother monster. Like, he's just that guy. Darrell Revis is that guy. But I think the best defense overall in the NFC North is going to be the Detroit Lions.
Detroit? I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not going to go with Chicago. I think I'm going to agree with that. I don't know if Flores is going to be able to turn that defense around in Minnesota really fast. I don't think things in the NFL work like a light switch where things can just change. But then again, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's a process. But if everybody is following this process, that defense could pop up in the long run, and we'll start seeing it more and more and more. Definitely be interesting because I feel like last year we didn't get to see the defense at its full potential because it played so far off the ball and there was no rush. My God, they were making every quarterback they played look like Tom Brady back there in his prime.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, I remember watching the Giants and Vikings playoff game, and I'm a huge Giants fan and I'm a huge Vikings fan, so I loved watching that game. Like, I was like, whoever wins, fantastic. But I was sitting there watching, I was like, my God, the Minnesota Vikings defense is making Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, look like primetime Tom Brady back there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was running, he was throwing, he was sliding. I mean, that guy was everywhere. Do you have a stat on that? How many yards he had that game? You think you could pull that up real quick?
Real quick.
Because, like, I think about that game with the Giants and any other game, and it does really put pressure on your offense to perform more to keep up. Because when your defense isn't coming through, and like I said, they won some games last year, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was all that defense, though. I mean, there was the Buffalo Patrick Peterson interception. There was the comeback against the Indianapolis Colts. There was some good stuff that was happening, but some of it, I guess, too, was luck. I guess in a certain way. Okay. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, what do you got?
So I believe this is correct. He had 301 yards passing.
My God.
78 yards rushing.
See, we made him look like Justin Fields out there running, except that guy has an arm. What else you got?
He had 4.6 yards of rushing average with 4 passing touchdowns.
Jeez. And you got Saquon there? What do you do?
Don't have Saquon here right now. But I know Saquon went off too. Went off.
Didn't he crack off a 40-yard run?
Oh, it was bad. It was like he just right down the middle. Like they just like opened up and just
started tearing it up, right? And that's what I'm saying is the Vikings defense, I don't know if it will change, but I feel like any type of change from last year could be a very positive thing. Hitman Harrison is back. Harry the Hitman, that's going to be huge. And I feel like with the right schemes, we can really get the ball back in our hands offensively and let that offense just fly.
Oh, yeah.
Just fly. I mean, I'm tired of watching the Vikings at the end when this game's coming down to a freaking field goal. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like a heart attack each time.
I mean, seriously. And, I guess it is what it is. So I think we're going to agree. You said Detroit's going to be the best defense.
Yes.
Number 2, Green Bay.
Yeah, I can say that. I'll say Vikings number 3, Chicago is number 4. I'm sorry, take that back. Daniel Jones had 100 or 301 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, not 4 touchdowns passing, 78 yards rushing on 17 attempts.
That's how bad the Vikings defense was.
And Saquon only had 9 carries for 53 yards.
Yeah, that's how bad that Vikings defense was. Got to tighten that up. Just tell you. So we said again, Detroit, Green Bay, Vikings, Chicago, as far as being the best defense in the NFC North.
Yes. Starting off, we have to reevaluate this. Like, are about 6-7 games back into it. See where
I agree. We can definitely bring this up 6-7 games into it. I'm excited to see where this is all going to go in the NFC North. It's going to be highly competitive. We got new faces, lots of new faces. This is like the type of thing. Will the Vikings defense show up? Is this going to be the year where Justin Fields just completely grows into himself in the league? Is Detroit going to be that team? What will Green Bay be without Rodgers? There's a lot of questions that we don't know, but we can find out this year by just watching and enjoying the season. So that's all I have today. Do you have anything else, John?
That's all I have too. It's going to be a great season. Be a great NFL season.
And that's what it's all about.
So thank you for tuning in to the Working Man Sports Talk podcast, and let us know what you think is going to happen in the NFC North this year. Who's going to lead in passing? Who's going to lead in rushing? Who's going to lead in receiving? And who is going to have the best defense? And remember, stay tuned for more.